You are watching a master at work.
Welcome to the We Eat, We Game, We Entertain podcast. What's up, everybody? This is Tom, and you're listening to the We Eat, We Game, We Entertain podcast. More people than ever are getting into sports and sports betting, playing video games, wanting to learn new recipes to cook. And on this show, I sit down with my friend Morgan, maybe some other friends from time to time, to discuss and share our opinions and our ideas, and hopefully our listeners can get some enjoyment out of it, maybe learn something along the way. All right, Morgan, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today is episode 4, and we're calling it All-Star Weekend. There's some big stuff going on in the NFL and the NBA. We've got the Pro Bowl this weekend, and the NBA selections have come out since our last episode. We're going to talk a little bit about the games we've been playing, the new Warzone update, and, of course, we've got the recipe of the week. So, to start out with this week, let's talk about the Warzone update.
All right. So I just jotted down a couple of notes for myself. I didn't go too deep into the Warzone update just because some of it's just kind of quality of life type stuff that you won't really notice unless you play it a ton. But Season 2's coming up, so Season 1's coming to an end in, I think, about a week or two.
Sounds right.
When Season 2 launches, they're going to be bringing back the 1v1 Gulag, and they're getting rid of the 2v2 with the jailer aspect in it.
Oh, they're getting rid of it completely.
From what I read, it's just completely, they're taking it out. And how they did it in regular Warzone, I guess Warzone 1, was just 1v1s with an overtime. Instead of it being a jailer, it is the like capture the flag domination type. You just go and sit in like a area and like capture it.
Got you.
If you can't kill the other player.
That honestly sounds better, because right now the biggest issue with the Gulag is that your teammate typically sucks if it's not someone on your team. And then I've never killed the jailer or been in a game where the jailer was killed. I don't know if you have.
A couple of times. Sometimes I'll like flip my thing to like the high pitch effect and be like, "Oh, let's kill the jailer! Let's kill the jailer!" and then just completely wipe the other team.
So I have been in there with some people who did exactly that. I can never tell which team it is that's making the sound because I don't really pay attention. But yeah, as soon as I hear it, I mean, I'd be on the lookout because I know that means that they're about to come try and sneak up on you.
Yeah, I just don't. If anybody's like, "Oh, let's go for the jailer," unless they start, I'm watching them and they've got to shoot the jailer first.
Yeah.
So I don't trust the whole. Yeah, I don't trust the whole.
No trust on there. I don't trust anybody in there, especially
can't trust anybody.
People literally on the other team.
Yep. So another update is the pace of combat engagements. So with that, they are getting rid of any like sort of different plated vests. So you start out with a 2-plate right now if you jump into Warzone. They're completely getting rid of that, and you'll just have 3-plate vests on start. So there's no varying plates anywhere anymore. No 4 plates, no 2 plates, just 3 plates.
I'm happy enough with that. I'm happiest that they made it, just that they upgraded it from 2 plates. It always seemed like you didn't have quite enough, and you can get mowed down pretty quick, and vice versa. You can mow people down real quick if they've only got 2 plates on. I do kind of wish that they made a 4-plate vest that you had to do something more difficult to get, maybe. But I'm happy with that change.
Yeah, and they had announced this previously, but I guess they hadn't put it in until, I guess, Season 2 coming up. And they had put that we're shifting away from loot windows menus to floating loot that will not drop out of all containers in the world, similar to loot from the supply boxes. So when you kill somebody...
better.
Yeah, when you kill somebody, it's not going to be a pack laying on the ground. It's just going to, like, kind of like how Fortnite does it. They explode or whatever, and just
Yeah.
everything goes everywhere.
That's a huge problem now is that like I'm slow in a menu. I can't like see a bunch of things pop up and look through all the things while I'm actively in a fight. So it's good when you're like for I guess for organization and stuff, but just do it like Fortnite and have all the stuff bunch up when it's close to each other, and that
Well,
would
that's
solve the problem.
yeah, that's what they'd put. This change is intended to improve the pace of gameplay by minimizing time spent navigating the UI and getting players back into the action faster.
Yep. Much better. And then in cache, because that's the big thing. I bet there's so much cache missed in like
Hmm.
packs that would never be missed if it would just fall on the ground. Um,
Another thing that I didn't put in here for some reason, which I don't know why I didn't, is they're getting rid of the $100 drops. I think minimum's 500 because $100 drops on the ground is just ridiculous. You can't buy anything worthwhile. Takes 4,000 to buy a teammate back. Takes
they're
like 32,000 to buy your loadout drop if you're in quads.
they were pretty common as well as a big part of it. If they had made it to where they were less frequent, it wouldn't have been as big of an issue. I feel like that was the biggest thing.
And then the last thing I have on here is season 2 will introduce customizable perk packages, which is also another big thing because
Oh,
they
that
just
would be
had
super
preloaded
helpful.
ones.
Yeah, that would be super nice. I'd like to be able to actually pick what I want to do instead of having what is it like 8 or 10 things to pick between. It's not very many.
Hmm. And yeah, there'll be more. There'll be more variants, which will somebody will come out with like the number one perk, specialized perk package crap on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. But
Yeah,
just so you can make Ghost with anything else is basically what it's going to come down to.
which would be nice because right now I think all of my loadouts have Ghost because I kind of need it in
Hmm.
like or mid fight. I guess I would say mid game. Um, being able to sneak up on people that have all their stuff together is very helpful.
Yeah, just not showing up on it. Yeah, so you can put Ghost and maybe Dead Silence. Who knows? We'll see in, I think, a little under 2 weeks. So 11 days.
Exciting changes.
One thing that does come out with the new um the update is a new resurgence map. It's called Ashika Island. Kind of looks like a porterhouse steak, to be honest.
Is that the whole map that we play on now? It's just a totally new map, or what is
No,
that?
resurgence is the I want to say it's a definitely a smaller map, but you can respawn after dying as long as like you have a teammate alive. So if you die, you wait like 30 seconds, there's a respawn timer, and then you can come back. Um,
This is
it's just
in.
a different play style, faster pace play style.
It's a
Better than
different. Is it a different game mode?
yeah, it's
Okay,
Resurgence.
but it's inside of Warzone.
Yeah,
Oh,
inside of Warzone, smaller map, more fast paced.
I don't think I've played that.
No, so I forget what the last map was called, and they don't have it out all the time. It's like
Okay,
a limited time mode.
that makes sense then.
Um, yeah, but that I like the smaller, more fast paced ones. I hate sitting camping and all that. Nobody likes a camper.
You got to
So,
move.
yep. But that's all out February 15th is when all the new Warzone updates happen. So we're recording. This is the 4th, so 11 days.
Perfect thing to do after Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So, um, before I go into the game I normally play, is there any game that you want to talk about?
I mean, I've been pretty busy lately. I have gotten into Warzone, so I've mostly been playing that. when I'm not doing that, I got balloons for free on the Epic Store, which I had as a cell phone game a long time ago. But I love all tower defense games. That's pretty much it. I think that
Hmm.
I played a little bit of Civ. Nick is out of town, so I haven't been on Satisfactory. It's really just been Warzone for me.
Yeah, I think Harry Potter comes out this week too.
I'm gonna wait to buy that. I'm not gonna buy that immediately. I want to see the reviews. I want to see what other people say about it. Um, Lee was telling me, my brother was telling me, that this is the first big game from this studio like this, or this is at least their biggest release.
Oh, okay.
So interested to see how it goes, but I think that that's a good thing more than a bad thing. I'd rather it be with someone like that than someone like EA who is all about the money.
Microtransaction,
Yeah.
everything.
Hopefully it's not that. Hopefully it's a big nice map and has a lot of stuff to do. And if it is, I'll buy it.
Yeah, same. One thing that is kind of like, that sucks, but it's not a big deal is there won't be any multiplayer.
Yeah, and that's another reason that I'm more than happy to wait, because it's not like jumping on it right now gives you any advantage in multiplayer because there is no multiplayer.
Hmm.
I'd rather wait for things to happen and people to actually play the game and maybe the price go down. Um, those sorts of things.
Yeah, no, definitely. I might do the same thing because I don't really need a new game right now.
I think it's $70 full price too,
Probably every couple of years they like to bump it up $10 just for the hell of it. So
which is outrageous. They should be $40.
yeah. But moving on, one game that I can always play, and this is we can play it like Morgan can hop on if he wants. Anybody, I think I've played it with your brother once or twice.
Okay.
Is Team Fight Tactics. I don't think he likes it though. It's a auto chess battler. So, how it starts off is it's 8v8 or 1v1, but 8 people in like a lobby, free for all. But every match you get pitted against each other, and they kind of split the chessboard in half per se to make it
Mhm.
more. But you get one half. You can put your people on different spots on the board. There's range, there's melee, different units that have different strengths, weaknesses, different powers, abilities, and then they have different classes within the game just to make it fun. And if you get a certain amount of different people that have the same class, um, you get perks, stuff like that.
And
Real fun.
and you can play together. Like, not is it? Is there any sort of cooperative mode, or is it all just
So there is a double up to where you guys can like give each other like you get items within the game and you can combine those to make different like defensive or offensive little items. But the
okay?
double up is like you never face them. It'd be essentially like two.
So like two people could win basically
Yeah.
at the end. Okay, yeah, no, that would be cool. I'm definitely interested in trying that game. I like all sorts of tactical games, and that's right up my alley. Where do you download it?
It's in the League of Legends client.
Is that like Blizzard? Or is
No,
that
it's Riot.
Riot? Oh,
So you just go on leagueoflegends.com and you can
okay.
download that, and it's in the same. You just load up that League of Legends and you can either pick
Yeah,
to
yeah,
where you're playing League of Legends or Team Fight Tactics.
cool.
Yeah, the ultimate goal, last player standing, 8 player free for all. It's it's easy, but it's difficult. If that makes sense, it's
Yeah,
easy to kind of get like what you're supposed to do. It's hard to counter people.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a learning curve to it.
Yeah, so like if you're looking to get into the game, I'd go on Twitch and watch somebody play. But you spend the game accumulating resources like gold and the items I talked about before.
Isn't
And
it
then,
free?
oh yeah, completely free.
Yeah, I'll download it. I'll see what it's about.
I get so another thing that's good if you have Twitch Prime or
I do.
Amazon Prime.
I do.
So every month they give you like their little essence, which is their in-game currency to buy the battle pass. I
Oh,
don't think
okay.
they give you enough anymore, but they give you enough for like half of it.
Got you.
But
Every
every
couple
battle
months.
pass, yeah, every battle pass is like 60 to 90 days. So
Oh,
I've
that's not
just been
bad.
buying, yeah, I've been buying the battle pass, and you get little heroes and little tacticians, which is the guy that you run around and like pick up stuff with, like your items and stuff in game.
How much is the battle pass?
Equates to like $10.
Okay, sounds right.
But I don't think I've ever bought a battle pass, and I've been playing it for 3 years now, if not more.
Nice.
So it's a fun game. Definitely worth. It's fun. I at least play one match like a day if I'm like at home at the computer. Like I played one before we started this
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So, and if anybody listening's plays it, add me. It's THalf703. I'm a diamond player, so holla at your boy. But that's all for games.
I'm gonna
So
assume diamond is mid rank.
no, diamond is so it goes. It's like Overwatch.
Yeah, no, I figured that.
Bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, master, grandmaster.
Oh, so it's the same as Overwatch.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, I was top 500 in the US.
Hmm.
But I just don't play it like I played it before. So, what are you going to do? But we can navigate onto sports now. We actually have a ton to talk about in sports today.
Yeah, this is definitely the long part of the episode. So strap in.
Yep. We'll start off with UFC, which I'm more familiar with than Morgan.
Yeah,
So you get to hear me talk more.
I'm a bystander here. I listen.
But you watch. So we watch.
Yeah.
Our group of friends tends to try and watch every UFC fight.
It just has to be shown to me. I have to be like there and not have anything to do, and it be available. It's interesting enough.
And yeah, UFC, that was like the one staple during the pandemic where they were having fights if it wasn't every week, it was every other week. So, and they're keeping that up. Oh, this week's fights that are on tomorrow, I don't really know many of them. I know the main card just because he's like one of my favorite heavyweight fighters, which is Derek Lewis, but it's Lewis versus Spivak.
Okay.
Just some big old Russian dude.
I actually know who Derek Lewis is.
Oh yeah, you've probably seen some of his fights. He holds the record for the most knockouts in heavyweight history.
Okay.
Dude's a monster.
He's the Texas dude, right?
Yep, Texas dude. He's hilarious too. I think one time after he beat somebody in the UFC, he immediately like took off his pants, and Joe Rogan was like, "Why'd you take off your shorts, Derek? What's up?" And he goes, "My balls is hot."
Well, they probably were.
Yeah, he says hilarious stuff like that all the time. But recently, and I think that was probably when you got introduced to him, was when he had that title fight in Texas, I think a year or two ago.
I do know that I've heard that story before, so they could be.
But yeah, he has been on a downhill trend since his title fight in Houston at UFC 265. In the span of fights since then, which I want to say UFC 265 was at the tail end of the 2021.
Okay.
He's gone 1-3. So not good, especially when he's known to just knock dudes out. But I think this one he gets back on track from what I've seen in his like reports and the interviews leading up to. The dude is taking his cardio seriously. He's gone back to a former coach and training camp that he wasn't on with the last like couple fights, which should be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just looks a lot slimmer. He would normally come in kind of looking kind of chunky, right at that 265 max range. He looks a lot slimmer, so
I guess that's
not
the
saying
thing
he's
at that weight. If you can't actually knock somebody out, if that's your thing, then you're going to get worn down, and you've got to be in shape.
yeah, I don't. Not too many fights in the heavyweight last the whole time, which is what I love, and probably many of the UFC fans love. Like it's either he's getting knocked out or he's knocking somebody out in his fights.
Them concussions.
Yeah. Hey. But yeah, so that is the fights tomorrow. I got Lewis. If he doesn't knock him out within the first 3 rounds, I don't think he wins. I haven't really seen that Spivak guy fight.
Yeah.
But if he's any Russian dude, he's probably a heavy hitter too.
So what, you got Lewis, you said?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I won't shy away from Lewis. I think he gets back on track.
I don't know how much I'd bet on it, but I'd go for the American dude. Murph,
Yeah, let's
USA.
see. I'll look at the odds real quick because I didn't even check to see what the odds are for anybody who likes to bet. I like to bet on the UFC every once in a while, but with fights, I don't know. I just don't. There's no real reason to. You'll just end up losing money.
I think we have to go to casinos to bet in Florida. I haven't been to one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's like, I think it's all Seminole tribe.
Oh, okay. So Derek Lewis is a big underdog, plus 210. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'll probably lose the bet.
Yeah. Oh, and if you don't know what plus 210 means, anybody who's listening, if you bet $100, if he ends up winning, you win $210 plus the original $100 you bet. So altogether, you get back $310. But yeah, that guy is. So Derek Lewis is a 210 underdog. Spivak is minus 265. So, which means you won't win too much money betting that. So, but I'll still take him because Lewis, all it takes is one crack.
I guess that's what they're hoping for, is that a bunch of people will be hoping that he'll just knock the dude out and win him the money. And makes sense.
Not to go. So that's the only ones coming this week. The only real fight that I'll watch all the fights, but I don't have any stake in them. Don't really know the people fighting. Might find some new fighters I like tomorrow. Just because, or tonight.
Is it
I'm
tonight?
saying, yeah, tonight. Today's Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought today's Friday, but yeah, tonight. So.
I wish I was at home on 1:30 on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was Friday because I'd still be at work too.
Yep. So,
but next week is the big fights. It's UFC 285, I think is what it is. UFC.
Are those on Saturday?
UFC 284. Yeah, it's on Saturday. It is in. Is it in? Oh, sorry for the dead air.
I
Okay,
guess.
so it's in Perth.
Okay, I guess they're trying to catch that pre Super Bowl
They're
like
always on
audience.
Saturdays, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, for them to have a big one right before the Super Bowl, you'd think that
Oh
there's
yeah.
a reason for it.
Well, the reason why this is so big is because the main event's lightweight title fight. Islam Makhachev, he's the new lightweight title holder. He beat out Charles Oliveira
Okay,
for it. And the featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski, he's like moving up to face him to try and be a double champ, be a two title holder.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
He's eating the PB and J's.
Well, the funny thing is Volkanovski, so featherweight's 145. So he has to come in weighing 145, 145.5. Volkanovski used to play rugby and he used to weigh over like 200 pounds. So, but you would never know because he looks like he's 145. That frame works for him.
Yeah.
So he has no problem moving up to 155. That'll be a good fight. And we'll get into more of it next week, but I just kind of want to get your toes dipped if you want to check it out before we talk more about it next week.
Yeah, I'll probably be watching the one both weekends. I don't have anything going on.
Oh, we'll definitely watch them tonight. We'll have them up while we're playing some game.
Yep.
But one thing that actually got announced today, and something that I know your brother likes to watch, Lee, is the Ultimate Fighter. So what the Ultimate Fighter is every year they have, it's kind of like the UFC's reality series.
Gotcha. Okay.
But they bring in, I think, 20 fighters, amateur fighters, and 2 UFC fighters in the same weight division to kind of coach them up.
Mm-hmm.
So they can be, I think it's all, there might be girls. I'm not 100% sure in with the fights, like as the fighters. But it might be all men.
Okay.
But so they just announced the fighters today, and it's going to be Conor McGregor as one of the coaches and Michael Chandler as the other coach, which is big because Conor McGregor's just a big draw. Every time he fights, pay-per-views out the window. I mean, the dude doesn't fight like he used to, but he still draws the big crowd. He's still a big name.
Just because everyone knows who he is, he's always going to give
And
you, no matter what he does.
He was a double champ. He might have been he wasn't the first one to do it, but I remember when he did it, people went nuts.
Mm-hmm. I remember when he threw the thing in the bus.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact, Islam Makhachev, the guy fighting next week, was on that bus.
Okay.
Because he was one of his, the opponent that Conor McGregor was facing, one of his fight camp buddies.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Drama.
Yeah, he was on the bus. And he actually, when Conor McGregor lost the lightweight title, Makhachev jumped over and tried to fight him.
Like after the fight?
Yep, because it was a big, huge, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Conor McGregor versus Habib Nurmagomedov aftermath.
Okay.
And it's just once Habib beat him, Conor McGregor's sitting in the side of the arena because he almost got choked out. Mm-hmm. People are going nuts. And a couple of people from Habib's team jump over the cage and just they try and like beat the shit out of Conor McGregor. So, yeah, it was wild. Wild times. Yeah, UFC had some wild times with Conor McGregor. Every time
like
Conor
wrestling.
McGregor fights. I mean, last time McGregor fought Dustin Poirier before his leg got shattered, he was standing.
Mhm.
Well, after his leg got shattered, because he was sitting in the ring with Joe Rogan crouched next to him, and he was yelling at Dustin Poirier, going, "Your wife sent me DMs." Just, as his like legs like shattered to pieces, and he can't
Yeah.
move anywhere. And oh yeah, the dude's hilarious. But yeah, so another thing I didn't mention is that so after the whole season that they filmed the Ultimate Fighter, they fight. They do stylistic matchups. They pit team against team, and then at the end, people people come on. There's like two winners, I think, that come out after. But on that same note, after they finish filming, Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will fight.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So that's like he so it so the Ultimate Fighter goes from May till August this year, and they announced that they just don't have a day yet, whether it be at the end of August or September. They don't have a time or place for the Conor McGregor Michael Chandler
When do they
fight.
start like showing it? Is it like as it's happening or?
I think we should have brought your brother on
Oh, okay.
because he knows more about this. I only watch it, but they show it every Wednesday.
We'll have to watch it and talk about it some more.
Yeah. Well, it starts in May, so we got some time.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, they just announced that.
Something to look forward to after football is over with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we want to. That's all I have for UFC, so we
Yeah,
can move on to football.
let's go then. We do have a lot to talk about with football this week. A few things have happened. Some more coach things have happened that we've been talking about. The Pro Bowl is this week, and we also have a big retirement, of course, at the end of the season instead of waiting till after it. Uh, Tom Brady has announced that he's retiring.
Yeah, that's one thing that pisses me off is that the dude knows Pro Bowl, Pro Bowl's whatever. Pro Bowl's not a big deal. But the Super Bowl's coming up. Why does he have to? I'm retiring. He takes away from everything because everybody's going to jump on Tom Brady.
Absolutely. And
So,
that's what the news is full of. And there's nothing about any Pro Bowlers this week. He's not in the Pro Bowl, so maybe that's part of why he did it now. I would bet that if he was in it, he would have waited until after,
oh yeah,
and or maybe made a big deal of it being his last Pro Bowl. But glad that he's retiring. We'll see if it's real or not. Again, he's already. I mean, what else does he have to lose to come back at this point? I don't know why. Why do do the one season? It's not like he's out of shape or anything. He's still slinging it.
yeah. He'll never be out of shape. He just eats that avocado ice cream crap and the TB12 method, and
Yep.
but maybe he gets back with his wife or ex-wife or whatever it is.
I
Who
think
knows?
I think not. Did you see the reply that she gave like on social media? It was like
No.
it was like best wishes to you and your future. It was like a very generic like I'm done with
Yeah.
you basically. I
I
saw
mean,
something that was like she hit him with the HR reply.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, you spend how many years being the backdrop and then he retires so you can restart your modeling or whatnot. And then he's like, nah, fuck that, run it back.
mm-hmm.
He got that week or two of babysitting the kids and was like, I ain't about that life
He's
yet.
like, this sucks, man.
I just want to go play games.
Yeah.
So,
But at this point, I mean, we'll see what he does. I'm sure that he'll get a TV job somewhere if he wants that, or he'll be able to do literally whatever he wants.
yeah, he's hired by Fox.
Oh, he's already. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was hired by Fox like a year or two ago. making like 500 million or something.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
His kids are very lucky.
yeah,
Well,
double-bladed sword.
yeah, double-bladed sword there for sure. You gotta
They
make out with him sometimes. But at least,
generational wealth, but that open mouth kiss is weird as hell.
yeah,
I'll never stop bringing that up because that's the weirdest crap I've ever seen.
you got to sit on Tom Brady's lap, but when he dies, you get like $500 million.
Yeah. Just wealth until the end of time.
Yep.
So, but that's all I want to talk about. I mean, everybody will say more, whatever. He's the GOAT, won so many Super Bowls, blah, blah, blah. Let's move on.
Yep. Got to get through that. So Pro Bowl this weekend. Is it today or tomorrow?
It's been going on the whole week, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
It's
I know
not been a big deal.
they have the activities and things, but yeah, it's. I guess it's not as cool as it used to be. I don't know if it's because
It's flag football.
Is it flag football?
It's flag football.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was unaware of that. What do the linemen do?
Hold each other's hands? I have no clue. It's flag football, and then the two team captains pick the teams, which are Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. It's just a weird, gimmicky.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, where is it? It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Derek Carr got his last minute invite that got Vegas didn't give it to him. So the Raiders didn't give it to him because it got lost in the mail somewhat. He joked about that. But since Derek Carr's been at the Pro Bowl, he's been slinging it. He got the most points for precision passing in that game, whatever. So after that, I think he ended up getting like over 30 points, which was the next closest guy was like 28.
I mean, mechanically, Derek Carr has always been a great quarterback. He and his brother both are very gifted. They have great arm talent. They can really sling the ball. They've got football minds. They've just been in bad situations, both of them.
Well, that and with these precision passing drills and everything, you don't have any defender coming up to you. You have no pressure.
Help. That does help.
So you're going to look good.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, if you have the arm talent, which he very much does. He looks great in pads. And he's not a bad quarterback. He just probably needs an offensive line.
Yeah, top 15 quarterback for sure.
Nobody can do it by themselves.
Yeah. But, so he did that, got a good score, great score, won it for the AFC for that little game. Ryan Clark, which he's a former safety for the Steelers, ESPN analyst now, came up to him and was like, we're in Vegas right now. Have you ever been this hot in Vegas? Derek Carr gives a little smirk and says, no, not that hot. It's probably why I'm going somewhere else. And that's been like the big clip that you see on ESPN and everywhere. And I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you got to make fun of yourself and have fun playing the game. If you take it too seriously, you're no fun.
Well, the Raiders have handled his situation poorly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they handle most situations poorly, but his is no exception.
Yeah, dude's laid out 9 years of his career here through how many coaches and everything. And then, it's just, no, don't come back, blah, blah, blah. But he gets his final hurrah, goodbye in the Vegas stadium just at the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Which, and so they haven't let his agent or anybody, coming back to Derek Carr talk to people like different teams. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I know they're looking for teams to trade with. But February 15th, I don't know why that comes to mind. Maybe because of the Call of Duty updates, but somewhere in the next 2 weeks is when his guarantees become like guaranteed.
Gotcha.
Which is a lot of money. So
How much time is left on his contract? Is it just one more year, or is it more?
I think it's 2 years,
Okay.
2 or 3 years.
I mean, I wouldn't want the Falcons to trade for him just because that's too much money, and we're not a quarterback away.
Yeah. But if they cut him now, they don't owe him anything. That
Yeah.
was the big thing.
If they did that, I'd be okay with us signing him for a affordable amount.
Which is, yeah, what I think it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Unless we pay him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets restructured, yada, yada. But I think that's it for Pro Bowl. I haven't really, besides the Derek Carr stuff that's hilarious, it's just gimmicky garbage.
Yeah, not a whole lot. I was happy that Chris Lindstrom made it. I think he's the only Falcon in there, even if he isn't a starter, which I saw earlier. I think we discussed in the last episode, Chris Lindstrom was the highest rated offensive player this year. He's the one bright spot on the Falcons. So I'm happy that he actually got voted in. It's hard to get in being anything in Atlanta. Getting voted into stuff in a small market is difficult.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Raiders actually had a good amount of people. Their punter, AJ Cole, Max Crosby,
Okay.
Devontae Adams,
That makes
Josh
sense.
Jacobs, Derek Carr.
Josh Jacobs made it?
Yeah.
Did he deserve it?
Oh, yeah. He was the number one rusher in the NFL.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Josh, yeah. Completely different to what I thought was going to be this season. You know, looking back, I think at the beginning of the season, I didn't take him in fantasy just because I was like, they're just going to use running back by committee. But Josh Jacobs just completely... And I think that's what they were going to do to start out because they didn't take his 5th year.
Oh, okay.
Which is going to bite them, but hopefully he'll get paid.
Well, I've always thought that it's not smart to pay running backs, so we'll see.
Oh, he carried. He doesn't need to get overblown paid, but 5 years, 25 million, I have no problem giving that.
That's reasonable. The issue is that it's probably going to be like 5 years, 50 million, or 5
and
years,
that's not
60 million, which is too much for a running back when you could just draft one in the 4th round.
Yep.
And they get hurt so easy. I now am so against paying running backs for my team. It's like the Falcons had a rookie running back this year who went 4,000 yards.
From BYU. Tyler Algier, right?
Yep. He's a beast.
Oh, yeah.
But why pay when you can just get him for that? And I guess on the same small market issue, the all-star selections for basketball came out since our last episode. Big thing for me, Trae Young was not selected to the all-star game. I think that he's made it the past couple years. Part of that being that we aren't necessarily the hottest team in the NBA right now. We've been on a decline since I got all excited about him a few weeks ago. But we've since come back in the past few games, I'd say. But Trae Young was not voted to the main starters or the reserves, which is it's sad.
Yeah, I don't know much about basketball. I watch it if I have bets going. But my bets are like just people getting points and rebounds and stuff that they should get anyways.
Yeah.
I do low risk bets. So it's always fun watching them. Like I think we were talking, I said your guys' announcers are hot garbage because they didn't know who they were talking about and
They're
all
not,
sorts
though.
of stuff.
Our
They
announcers
must
are
have
great.
they must have had an off night because they couldn't even. Yeah, they were telling people that the other team was up when they were losing, and yeah, Trae Young was having a bad hair night too. His hair looks rough.
I mean, I feel for the dude. He probably needs to cut it at some point. He
doesn't look horrible. when he's not. Once he sweats, you can see all
That
those bald spots.
that's the thing. Well, it's not. It's just that it's so curly that it like lumps up in big mats, and now it all separates. And I don't know. I mean, he needs to. He needs to
Get
just get
cornrows.
rid of it. Yeah. I don't know if that would help him because then it'd look really bad. I feel like it probably hurts too. Um, but yeah, my main gripe with it is that he wasn't even picked to the reserves, which means those players are picked by the coaches, which means that out of the 30 coaches in the NBA, they didn't feel that he deserved it. And DeMar DeRozan and Tyrese Halliburton were both picked over him. Neither of them, I feel, are on the same level. Trae Young is like averaging 29 and 10 this year, which that's
Mhm.
definitely like that's all-star level. None of the other players I think are averaging that.
Was Halliburton a point guard?
He's a guard. Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say DeRozan's a forward. So
Mm, I mean, so they're all kind of picked in that it's more positionless now, but those are the two
yeah.
big players that shouldn't have been put in over him. Um, but the Bulls and the Pacers are both having. So the big argument for not picking Trae Young was that their record was bad, and even though we have a winning record, these other DeRozan and Halliburton are both on teams that have worse records. So that's my whole gripe.
Which that shouldn't be.
No,
All
it shouldn't.
stars are going to be all stars, whether they're on a good team or
Absolutely.
not. So
It should be off stats, and if it were off stats, he would be like probably after not very many people, maybe Curry and Irving, and it's a small list.
yeah, because LeBron and them just turned it up. They
Yeah.
sucked the first half of the season.
Well, LeBron's always going to be the number one just because he's LeBron.
Yeah,
He's earned that to be the number one person until he retires. Um,
but did Anthony Davis make it?
I'm off the
Because he
top of my
shouldn't have
head. I'm
made it.
not sure. Let me see.
Oh, but
Anthony
regardless, yeah.
Davis. He didn't make it. I don't
Okay.
see him.
Yeah, because I know Tyrese Halliburton. I know this was his first All Star, and this was just me kind of listening while I watched them play. They played somebody that I was watching a couple nights ago, but
He's a great player.
yeah, he turned it up. I think they just gave it to him just because he's the hot name right now.
Absolutely. And then every year. So Drew Holiday as well. Drew Holiday doesn't have nearly the stats that Trae Young has. He's not the all-star on his team. He's a good player, but does he deserve to be there more than Trae Young, who is
But they've had their good players out, and he stepped up. He
yeah,
was averaging over 30 points for a couple weeks there.
but
So, and that's like he's got to have the hot name right before they finish voting. Because that's why he got in. Drew Holiday.
mhm.
Because the guy on the Bucks, yeah, he killed it these past couple of weeks. So
I will say I'm looking at the stats right now. Halliburton is averaging 10.2 assists per game, but only 20 points.
mm-hmm.
So that's the big difference. Trae Young is 27 points, 9.9 assists.
Yeah,
So that's a big difference.
it's a hotter name at the
Yeah,
time.
that's really what it is.
So popularity game. So, but yeah, so with the All Star break, when do they play their game? Next weekend? Not next weekend. It can't be next
No, it's a
weekend.
few weeks out. It's not quite about to come up. They just announced the names.
Okay, so
We
they'll pick their teams and everything, and
Yep. We do have upcoming the trade deadline for the NBA, which is bigger than in the NFL. Even though it's becoming a bigger deal in the NFL. There's always a bunch of stuff that happens at the trade deadline in the NBA. And the biggest thing that's come up so far is Kyrie Irving demanded a trade like yesterday or the day before.
mm-hmm.
He This is the last year of his deal. Before he was saying that he was going to resign with the Nets. Now he's saying if they don't trade him, he's going to sign elsewhere. So they have the option. They can trade him now before the trade deadline in like a week, or they can get nothing for him and let him go.
Oh, does the trade? So this is my great and vast knowledge. So I play franchises on the NBA games. I thought the trade deadline always came after the All-Star break.
It's around the same time. The All-Star break is about to happen. I know that the Hawks don't have another home game until after the trade deadline. So I'm not exactly sure how far it out.
And I'd believe you over me because, like I said, my vast knowledge is from NBA 2K22 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean they're both upcoming. They're both very soon.
I know it's right there because it's right before or right after the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm. And the Kyrie thing is a big deal because he kind of talked a lot about James Harden being 1 foot out the door and leaving early, and then Durant has also demanded a trade from the Nets and didn't get that honored in the offseason. So that team has fallen apart, and it's kind of sad because it's just when they started to get good again.
And I mean, Kyrie Irving, for all the crap that he brings with it, he's a good player.
Oh, Kyrie is incredible.
Yeah.
He's one of the best players in the NBA, but I wouldn't want him on the Hawks. I would never want him on my team just because he causes dysfunction. He brings too much else with him. He's not worth having around. I'll watch him play.
Oh, I'm sure LeBron wants him.
LeBron can handle him. That's the thing is LeBron is obviously the alpha in that situation. And that's why they won a championship together is he was able to control Kyrie. People didn't know how crazy he was until he went to Boston, and then Boston told everybody, and no one believed him.
Yeah, trade Kyrie Irving for Russell Westbrook and maybe 1 or 2 more.
It would help the Lakers a lot. I mean, that's what he can shoot. That's what they need. They need outside shooting, and they need someone that can actually do more with the ball than Westbrook because he just kind of runs at the basket.
Yeah, Westbrook's past his prime.
He's a great player. Love his effort. He should focus on defense.
I mean, 4 years ago he was averaging a triple-double every night or something, Russell Westbrook?
He's got like the most triple-doubles ever or something like that. He's definitely top 3. But yeah, he's a great player if you build a whole team around him. But then again, it's not like you're ever going to win a championship with that team. You have to it's not going to work now.
Yeah, he's just passed.
Yep.
Still solid player. Would whoop anybody in real life that doesn't play the NBA. So yeah.
Respect to Westbrook. He's a great player, great athlete. He probably will be until he's 60.
As far as that, trades, everything, anything else in basketball you want to talk about?
That's it.
Not going to any games soon?
No, too much else going on. I might figure it out at some point, but they're also far away from me.
I'm going to try and go to a Wizards game, but I just got to, pay and I don't even care if I sit in good seats. I just like the atmosphere.
I've never been to an NBA game, so I'd like to go to one. The closest to me is Orlando. It's about 2 hours.
I've been to an Orlando game.
And
Orlando versus Celtics.
I'd love to see a Hawks game, but just have to look for tickets, I guess, and prepare to make the trip.
Yep. Yeah, go visit your brother one weekend and hit a game up. Yeah.
It's not far from them.
So, pivoting back, I want to talk about coaching hires that happened in the NFL this past week or so.
We did skip right over that. That was my fault.
Yeah, which isn't a big deal. It's whatever. We're still talking about sports.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of with the All-Star Pro Bowl, that kind of goes hand in hand. So
grouping it together.
You were itching to talk about your Hawks and Trae Young not getting selected. So
I was mad about it. I'm good now.
But the biggest one coming out this week is Sean Payton getting hired by the Denver Broncos. So the Denver Broncos send their 2023, their first-round pick, that's from San Francisco, which is from Miami, technically, when they traded Chubb away. That's where they got
Okay.
that pick from, but it wasn't Miami's. And then 2024 second round pick to New Orleans for Sean Payton, and all they had to do is send their 2024 third round pick for them.
I'd like to state for the record that I think this should be illegal. I think that all parties involved should have to go to jail for this. That's not fair. You shouldn't be able to trade for a coach. That's not cool.
Why not?
Why do you get to trade for a coach? Just let the man go somewhere else.
Well,
He
they still
retired.
had him under contract.
He retired.
It's like the whole John Gruden thing. We traded them to the Buccaneers,
I
and then
mean,
they won a Super Bowl.
I'm aware, but it's not right. The Saints are supposed to not get anything ever.
They've got Dennis Allen as their coach. They're not going to do good.
Hopefully, I mean, yeah, they've mishandled it for a while, and they owe so much money that they're going to suck this year. I hope that they just keep kicking that can down the road with the salary cap, though. That's really what I need.
And Denver loses out on draft picks. Sean Payton, I don't think he's a good coach, but is it enough to turn around that franchise by itself with Let's Ride, Russell Westbrook, and all that? We'll see.
Sean Payton couldn't even win his kids' Pee Wee League as the head coach. So you can trade all that for that.
I'm happy with the hire. That kind of gets rid of any doubt. I mean, they could have went to the college ranks and grabbed some random dude like half the teams have done the past couple of years, but whatever.
I mean, it's good for you. I think that it'll wind up being good for the Raiders. The Falcons, I'm super upset. They should take those picks away.
Forfeit them like the Dolphins forfeited first round pick this year.
Yep.
Oh. All right. So that's one of the two head coaching hires. The other one is the Texans has hired DeMeco Ryans, the 49ers defensive coordinator, and a former player.
Yeah, he used to play.
Yeah, which we had discussed last week.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Big fan of hiring former players. I think that there should be more of them as coaches.
The one thing I don't want to happen with DeMeco Ryans, which I don't think they will, is the Texans the past 2 years have hired coaches, and they have fired coaches after every season.
And that really sucks for the coaches because the blame is put on them when the Texans are obviously in a very unfortunate situation. They didn't tell Deshaun Watson to ruin a couple years of their franchise. Although I guess they got some picks out of it.
Yeah.
They should be looking up. But it's not necessarily on the coach when the whole team's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, their best player was Brandon Cooks, a receiver.
I think after the third year of new coaches, you should probably start looking higher than the coaches for the issue.
Yep. But we'll see. I really like the pick. Hopefully they want to send a pick over to the Raiders for Derek Carr, so who knows?
Ideally.
Yeah. But in assistant coach news, the Browns have hired their new defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz.
He used to coach for the Lions.
Yeah, he was the head coach for the Lions. He was the defensive coordinator for the Eagles for a little bit. I want to see when they won their Super Bowl last.
Okay.
I don't know if he might have been in the college ranks these past couple of years.
That would make sense. I can remember what he looks like, but I don't remember a whole lot about him. I know that the Lions were chronically bad for a while, and he was sort of a victim of being one of their coaches.
So he's a good defensive coordinator. Other than that, yeah. Oh, I guess he's been the senior defensive assistant for the Titans for the past couple of years. So not a coordinator.
Their defense has been good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that Vrabel's the head coach, and you're never going to move anywhere.
Oh, yeah. So, but he does the... I want to say he is big with the 4-3 defense.
Okay.
That's his big staple. He likes to get big guys up front that can just hound the quarterback. He does a good job with it, so good luck to him because he's got Myles Garrett and maybe they re-signed Jadeveon Clowney.
I mean, and with those two dudes, you should really be able to do something in a 4-3.
Oh yeah.
Just get 350-pound dudes and plop them down in the middle, and you're gonna eat.
Mm-hmm. So the Chargers, they hired Kellen Moore as their new offensive coordinator.
Former quarterback.
Yeah, former quarterback of the Cowboys, former offensive coordinator of Dallas. So they mutually agreed to part ways, and a day later they hired him. The Chargers did. So,
I mean, I think that he's been with the Cowboys for a while, right? So,
yeah, ever since he retired.
They need to shake it up. I guess they're stuck with Dak Prescott and that whole situation, so maybe try something else is what they're thinking. For the Chargers, probably a good pickup. Herbert is a great quarterback. He just needs some help.
Yep. Hopefully their head coach keeps on jacking up their game plans, but we'll see.
Oh, true. Yeah, I forget the people in your division.
Yeah, it's stacked division.
I really like Herbert. I think he's going to be like a top player for the next 10 years.
Oh yeah, he'll be a mainstay.
Yep.
Him and Patrick Mahomes, which is awesome.
Unfortunate.
All right. Miami came to terms with a new defensive coordinator, which is Vic Fangio.
Fangio. I think he used to be a head coach as well.
He was the Denver Broncos head coach.
Yeah.
Which I liked him as a head coach because he sucked. He wasn't the best guy. They had awesome defenses. They had no offense.
That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these coordinators get promoted too far and they should just stay as coordinators. But why would you ever turn that down? And then we've seen it happen before. Like if you get the opportunity, you shouldn't wait for a good situation. You should just take the opportunity for the money because you don't know if you could have a bad year as a coordinator the next year and not have your name up for a head coach job anymore. So take it when you get it.
Well, the thing that I don't get, and here's a little insight by yours truly, is let's say I'm a good offensive coordinator, number one in the league. They hire me as the next head coach of yada yada. Why am I even going to try with the defense? Don't give me any sort of the defense. Let me bring in somebody that knows the defense.
Absolutely. And I mean, there should be, I don't know, if you're that type of coach that is all about one side and isn't both, you should just let the other person have complete control. It's just hard for that person to get the recognition that is deserved when they do well.
Yeah, good bosses surround themselves with people that know more stuff about stuff that they don't know about.
And if you have like that type of coordinator that's getting all sort of head coaching opportunities and you really think that they're helping you that much, I don't think there's a cap for coaches. Why not just pay them more?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, give them more responsibility. There's no reason not to.
Perfect example is Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
I think he knows that he's not a good head coach.
Yep.
He keeps on staying with the Dallas Cowboys year after year if people want to hire him.
And that's smart for him. I've experienced him as a head coach. If you have the team there, he can motivate some of the guys and make the guys work together. But he doesn't develop people. People are what they are. Even our defense. So his specialty is supposed to be defensive line. Our entire time that we had him, we had the 1 year with Vic Beasley that was a fluke. Other than that, it was like no sacks ever. And we had Grady Jarrett on the team the whole time. So it's not like there was an excuse for it. He just needs to focus on the things that he needs to focus on.
Yeah. Enough rambling about that. a familiar face has been hired for the Patriots, which is Bill O'Brien, the old Texans
Okay.
head coach.
Yep.
He was the Alabama offensive coordinator while Mac Jones was in Alabama, but he was also the offensive coordinator for the Patriots before he was the Texans head coach. So
Well, that
nothing
whole
new.
thing makes sense. Yep. All that should work out, hopefully, for Mac Jones. I mean, I like the Patriots without Tom Brady, but I I don't want anyone to do awful.
I don't need Bill Belichick winning another, and I don't think he does.
That's where I stand, though. I'm okay with them being okay.
They'd be mediocre,
Yeah.
average at best, but yeah, nothing crazy.
I want the Bills to stomp on them for 20 or 30 years. That would be really nice. Just until I die. That'd be cool.
Oh, so kind of going off. I don't know what this that made me remember the 28-3 stuff. Have you heard about the scandals that the NFL has been shipping out? The basically they've been couple of players have said that they ship out at the beginning of the season what you're going to do that season.
Oh, the script thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the script.
I've heard about that.
I saw a meme with when it was like Matt Ryan reading the script and looking at the 28-3 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure he was very happy about that. I don't think that it's rigged to that degree. I do think that like the refs start calling games differently based on the situation, and that they will push things to be more exciting. They will push things. I think that there are some refs that will change the outcome of the game. Um,
yeah, I think based on players that they don't like.
yep. And that's probably the biggest thing is more the players than the teams themselves. Um, I feel like I've definitely seen it before, and especially so. And I have heard like in the NBA they give it's got to be similar in the NFL. In the NFL, they give certain things to look out for during certain games, especially in very popular TV games. Like, let's not call holding so much so that there's more passing yards. Let's in the NBA, it's like let's not call those moving screens, and on especially
Travels.
traveling. Yeah, let's not call traveling and let the dribbling look super cool. In the playoffs, when it's like game 6 and they're about to close it down, let's push it to a game 7 so we can make this much more money. At least in the NBA, that's a thing that definitely happens.
Yep. There have
So
been So sorry to cut you off. There
no, you're
have
good.
been a couple of players though, and they're not the best character players that
Hmm.
have been backing up, the NFL script, like Antonio Brown, Adrian Foster, if you know
I
him.
know him. Yeah, those are all the conspiracy
Yeah,
theorist people. So no, I don't think there's a script that comes out at the beginning of the season and that they're just saying these sorts of things. But and the reason for that is there's 53 dudes on the roster, and then there's like 75 dudes, including the practice squad. People, that many people aren't going to be able to be quiet for that long. People aren't going to agree to injuries that actually do happen. People, it's hard to control like when the ball is in the air. Different things happen. The weather happens. There's a lot there. You can't script it the whole season, but you can stop calling holding when the Super Bowl is 28-3 and the most popular team in the country is getting crushed by a small market team that nobody cares about,
hmm
when you can make the GOAT story and sell merchandise. And so it's really all about money, and it makes sense.
sucks to hear, but yeah, that just triggered that. We weren't even going to talk about the scripting and all that, so
Yeah.
glad we could do
Tangent.
a little dive on there.
Good tangent.
I think that's it for sports, unless you got something.
That's it for me. No.
Yeah, we'll just kind of move on to the recipe of the week, which I ended up making just a easy crock pot chicken chili.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. And the video will play right here, where we'll be making crockpot chicken chili. As you can see here, this is all the ingredients you need. Pretty simple recipe. You got black beans, cream cheese, chicken bone broth, rotel with some green chilies in it, white corn, a ranch dip packet, and some chili seasonings. You're gonna have your crock pot turned on to high, and you're gonna put all your chicken in there. Doesn't matter if it's chicken breast or chicken thighs. And you're gonna go in with the black beans and with your corn. And then lastly, you're gonna dump in your rotel with your green chilies in with it. And you're gonna want to stir it around a little bit, kind of get it incorporated everywhere. So it's just layers. Next, you want to dump in your seasonings, which that is the chicken chili seasoning. And next is going to be the little Fiesta Ranch packet that I bought. You're going to want to finish it off with your bone broth. I put about 3/4 of that carton in there, so it's just how much you want to have. You can either make it real soupy or really thick. I had some water in there too, just to kind of loosen it up. And then you're just going to want to stir everything so you can combine all the seasonings. Now, after you've gotten it all incorporated, you're going to want to add your cream cheese. I just kind of pushed it in a little bit. Then you just put the lid on, have it on high, let it cook. This is after a couple of hours after. So you're going to want to grab all your chicken out. It should be cooked all the way through. After you've grabbed all your chicken, you're going to want to dice it up. You can either shred it or just cube it up. I kind of did a combination of both, since I have people in the house that like cubed meat instead of shredded. So once again, preference is yours. Like I said, I did a little bit of both. All right, now that you've gotten it all cut up, then you can incorporate it back into the chili. Make sure you get that all stirred around and such, just so, you know, it'll all get cooked still, so all the flavors will mesh together. And I actually even let it cook for about another 20 or so minutes after I cut up all the stuff. But now it's ready to eat. Grab yourself a ladle, bowl you up some. Put whatever toppings you like on it. We hope you enjoyed that video. I can tell you it tasted good. So, recipes in the YouTube description. So, for all audio listeners, you want to head over to We Eat, We Game, We Entertain on YouTube. We'll have a link in the audio description for these, so you can go check that out. Real tasty recipe. I'm sure Morgan's going to try it this week.
I'm going to do my best.
Oh, it's easy.
Okay. Then yes.
So crock pot recipe, man. You just throw everything. Yeah, throw everything in the crock pot and let it eat.
Yep.
So, all right. That wraps up this week's episode 4. All-Star Weekend.
It's been a good week. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. You guys have a good one.